ATRAC.
Hi guys, welcome back to 4-Wheel Drive is Life. Most of you may already know, I drive a Toyota Tundra. It is my daily truck, and I use it for off-road very frequently. Being Toyota's biggest truck, I always hear people say, your truck is too big for off-roading. It's no good in East Coast off-roading settings, which I disagree. So I challenged my good friend Kai from Tinker's Adventure for an off-road face-off at our local off-road park, the famous Reading Outdoors. He drives an FJ Cruiser, which is the smallest Toyota off-roader, and has extensive modifications that makes it a monster off-road. We're going to challenge these two trucks on 3 different trails: Rolling Rock Hills, V-Notch Crossing, and Rock Garden. Each of the trail challenges different aspects of the trucks. To give you the true idea of the trail conditions, I decided not to cut the footages too much, because a highlight reel will always make it seem easier than it actually is. So please sit back and enjoy some good times on the trails. Please bear in mind that the goal of these challenges is to crawl up the obstacles without any sending. I know some of you may say, what's the fun of that? I assure you that we're absolutely having fun crawling up obstacles that normally may seem to be out of our league, especially for the less modified Tundra. So the Rolling Rock Hill consists of many large boulders and loos along the way up to a very steep incline. And then in the middle of the hill, there is a huge piece of rock, or multiple pieces of rocks that's significantly larger than others, formed a ledge that you have to climb to get over it. It's very demanding to vehicles' tire size, ground clearance, and being able to lock the differentials. As the trail condition deteriorates, each time we're here, we had to face slightly harder and different surface conditions.
Nice.
Here is a second angle of the same climb. As you see here, that rocky ledge in the middle of the climb is labeled in this picture. As shown here, my Tundra really struggled even to get up to that ledge. It's very loose rock. As you can see, my tires just keep grabbing the rock and just get the rock, just throwing the rock backwards instead of going forward. Remember, I'm only doing this hill climb knowing that my vehicle has enough lift, big enough tire size, to not have any damages, and plus the skid plates. You guys know what part on my Tundra got hit the most when I go off-roading? It's the rear diff skid plate. With a 10.5 inch rear diff, it's really hanging down low compared to the less beefy ones like 4Runner or even Land Cruiser. So with a rear locker and longer wheelbase, the Tundra made it up without any drama. So here comes the FJ Cruiser. To make it a fair comparison, we decided to have the rear locker only. We are not going to lock the front yet. And the FJ Cruiser has about 3 to 4 inch lift, and it's on 35 inch tires, long travel front and back, and 11 PSIs to the tire. And it's got the KM3 mud terrain tire. Are you also wondering why is that FJ Cruiser's bumper looks so good? That's because it's made by my friend Kai. He's the owner at Tinker's Adventure. If you want to know the details, please check him out. I'll put the descriptions down below. Here, the FJ Cruiser crawling up to the ledge with less of a difficulty compared to Tundra, and I believe the reason for that is the FJ Cruiser is much lighter and has less torque, so it's not likely to kick the rocks backwards as much. The front tires made it up no problem. However, when it gets to the rear tire, as you see here, it's not grabbing because the vehicle is a little shorter, or actually a lot shorter than the Tundra. So on a steep incline like this, more weight will be sitting in the back tire, which is resisted by the rock. At this moment, we finally turned on the front locker and the vehicle crawled right up.
Woo!
here is a different angle of the same climb. Another thing to note is that the FJ Cruiser is on BF Goodrich KM3 mud terrain tires, where the Tundra is on BF Goodrich KO2 all-terrain tires. I do believe on this kind of rocky terrains, mud terrain tires have a slight advantage, if not a lot of advantage, over the all-terrain tires. Are you noticing it here? As the front tire is losing traction, it starts to slide left and right as well. So that's not a good thing, because on this kind of off-cambered steep incline, especially for shorter wheelbase, it felt very sketchy. Here's a footage of the FJ Cruiser's actual first try on this hill. The front tires of the FJ Cruiser is really struggling to gain traction, and as it's losing traction, it's not only spinning freely, it's also moving laterally to the left. We had to back it down really carefully and straighten it up slowly so that it doesn't flip on its side. So we decided to try again on a route that's more to the right. And the vehicle climbed up okay, no problem when the front make it up. However, when the rear hits that ledge, same thing happened again. Here comes a V-notch crossing. In hindsight, I really should have waited my friend Chris to spot me because I knew he was a good spotter. However, I had to trust who I had at that moment, which is my friend Joe. It was probably his first time spotting. I'm not blaming him, but this was not the best line to attack. It seems like my vehicle couldn't make it up that little climb because it was extremely off-cambered. And every time I try, it just kind of slid down right away. So while we're waiting for Chris, here comes Kai. He made a good suggestion of asking me to step out of the vehicle and just kind of look at it from outside of where the vehicle's sitting on, so I will have a better understanding of the terrain and the vehicle's stance. And I'm telling you right now that being inside of the vehicle on the driver's seat, he really felt the vehicle's gonna roll over. However, from the look of it, it's far from it.
Yeah, I was on the top. You're getting your driver tire up here. Okay. It's gonna feel sketch, but you don't have any weight up top. You just sit tight. Back down, right? Yeah, back down. Just ride get your driver tire as far here as you can, and we'll watch you climb this area. All right? Or is heavy. Go back down. Rear driver tire. 28 inches. You're good. Go back down.
会很恐怖的，它如果一直往左靠的话。
Yeah, I'll watch the driver's side. Faster a little bit. Okay. Faster more, you're gonna hit that tree. Okay. That's good. That's good.
I really had to ride that left side bank to avoid the right side being dropped into the ditch.
Start passenger.
So you can see it's very close.
Okay, yeah, that's good enough. Yeah, keep this angle. You're good where you're at on this side. I just want to make it. No, your truck is pointing this way. Just go faster. Just trust me. Go a little faster. Straight forward. I got my eyes on you. Go. A little bit more faster. A little bit more faster now. A little bit more faster. More faster. Okay. A little bit more faster.
Pinstripes? What pinstripes?
Go come faster a little bit. I'll tell you where to go. Hold that and go straight. You're good. Go a little faster. Not going driver.
So here's what I was thinking. I would take pinstripes over vehicles flipping over any day, so.
Alright, you're gonna drop down nice and easy. Good. Come faster a little bit more. Now you're pretty much in the clear. Go driver and then come down.
We're finally at the actual V-notch crossing spot.
Come straight. Go a little drive. Well, your side view mirror is going to hit those branches.
So the goal here is to turn at the last moment and commit it into the turn hard so that it's not flipping the vehicle.
Yes. Okay, straighten out. Come forward and straighten out a little bit. Straighten out. This is the flex right here. Straighten out.
All right, flex.
Straighten out now. Straighten out now. Yep. Go. Yep. Here's the flex.
This is actually the first time I've ever get my rear tires to rub against the wheel well.
Okay.
So after the V-notch crossing, there's a last climb that I had to make to get out of this trail. And it's about still to the left of the trail, and the right side is the same thing. It's like a ditch and then climb up. And it's at an angle to the right, so it's off-cambered climbing as well. Also very sketchy. This camera angle is extremely down low to the ground. It's only made possible by my newly purchased G-Yun Crane M3 gimbal stabilizer. It's light enough to be held on the trails for extended amount of time, and it's also beefy enough to be able to hold a full frame with a zoom lens on it. Okay, so as I'm approaching to this climb, my goal is to crawl up as slowly as possible so that there's no excessive movements laterally while the tires are spinning. The Tundra made it up there amazingly well. You will see from the later FJ Cruiser footages that even the FJ Cruiser struggled a little bit. So here's FJ Cruiser's turn. It does seem like the FJ Cruiser has a little easier time maneuvering on this bank. I believe it's both due to the shorter wheelbase and maybe possibly narrower track width. However, I will get the exact number for the track width for the FJ Cruiser because it's long travel up front, so it should be much wider than the standard FJ Cruiser. However, if it's wider than the Tundras, I don't know.
How the hell is my Tundra gonna make it?
So Kai actually tried the V-notch before my Tundra did. That's why I was keep wondering if my Tundra was able to make it, because I see him struggling on this section, and I thought mine was wider than his.
Okay, if you can't go little driver. Alright, now start going faster. Slow. Let's go. Alright, now we should start going faster. Straighten up, and then turn that way hard. Coming down, nice and easy. Easy on the brake, don't go too hard on the brake. Just let it ride, it's not gonna flip.
I feel the need of letting Kai know that don't go too hard on his brake because FJ Cruiser lifted on 35s is way too tippy than my Tundra. Fast forward due to brake squeaking. So as the driver front tire loses traction, we decided to have ATRAC on instead of locker to see if ATRAC is effective.
ATRAC.
Yep, ATRAC works like a charm. I'm just working on my scene transition filming skills here.
give you a whole one. Yeah. You should be fine. Just hard. Turn it hard. Yeah. There you go.
Now we're getting to that final off-camber climb out of this trail.
Okay. Alright, now start going a little driver here. We're going to climb you out of this ditch. Hard drive. Nice and easy, nice
Coming
and
up
easy.
now on the
Coming
passenger
up.
side.
Oh, a little passenger.
The FJ Cruiser couldn't make it up without lockers, so he turned out ATRAC.
Oh, yeah, okay. There it is, there it is. Alright, come faster. Woo! Nice run.
Full disclosure here, I was only going to give it a try that day on this rock garden, because I know when the rocks are wet, it's really difficult to get up that.
Going up now. Alright, straight.
And just a quick tip for anyone that's going off-road or overlanding, if you're not sure about the terrain or route that you're going with, check out your surroundings before you actually drive it, and trust your spotter. Have a trustful spotter. Trusty spotter is key.
Yep, going up now on your passenger. Alright, aim towards me now. Yep, straight out. Go a little faster now.
Being a long wheelbase that it is, I was fully expecting my rock slider to be scratched, hit, and bumped on the way up.
You're good.
Slider.
You're on your slider. Come faster now. You're coming up on the rear. Go faster, more passenger. More passenger. Climbing up. Nice and easy, coming down. That's fine, you're on your slider, you're good. You're good.
I also want to give a shout out to IRONMAN4X4 Bumper. It provides extra clearance and front approaching angle, and it's able to hold a 12,000-pound winch, which gave me extra
Coming up on your
insurance.
passenger. Alright, you're good, you're clear. Good drive.
So here comes Kai and his FJ Cruiser on this rock garden.
Straight down. Yep. Driver a little bit. Load up.
I had no doubt whether the FJ Cruiser would make it up, because it's one of the most functional modified FJ Cruiser that I've seen. And the shorter wheelbase really make it easier to maneuver around the rocks. As you can see here, he is able to easily avoid that rock where the Tundra had to put the sliders on.
Aim for me. Going up. Straighten out. Good. Woo!
So after the 3 challenges we did today, I am glad to conclude that the size actually does matter. However, the different size vehicle will benefit you in different terrains. The longer wheelbase Tundra gives you extra stability during steep climbing. The shorter wheelbase FJ Cruiser gives you more breakover angle and maneuverability in a rocky situation. So there is really not a one-size-for-all kind of answer. End of the day, it really depends on your need for the vehicle. For me, I need my vehicle to be utmost reliable, has enough room for all my gears and my family, easy to drive and comfortable enough for a daily driver, and being somewhat capable off-road. So I feel like Tundra is my perfect choice, although the current rising gas price has really made me doubting myself. Maybe I like the idea of having a dedicated daily driver to save gas money, but I would never get rid of my V8 Tundra. Thank you guys for watching. As always, if you like the contents, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks again and have a good one.